Hello there, kia ora, and welcome to this week's news. The ACT Party, seen here showing you what the monsters from the series From look like on their day off, began the week in defence mode after a powerful haka was burst into Parliament during their first reading of the Treaty Principles Bill. Mark Cameron demanded civil debate, while calling those involved in the haka barnyard animals. The official party account claimed young people should not be involved in protests, as footage resurfaced of David Seymour, who made headlines earlier this year for Snapchatting children because they were apparently future voters, encouraging students of charter schools to protest and perform a haka to save them. Seymour claimed Te Pāti Māori were given a free pass from media for their haka, while not answering questions on the whereabouts of and sudden resignation of former party president Tim Yago. And he also claimed that a democracy means each person having a say on the rules that run the country. And a bill put together without the input from one of the signatories of our founding document is the way to ensure that. On Saturday, New Zealand First MP Tanya Unkovic, seen here showing you all the words that she can read by herself when she uses her finger as a guide, spoke to crowds of dozen for the New Zealand Doctors Speaking Without Science event commemorating those who died suddenly from what they always assume is vaccine reactions, despite all of the evidence to the contrary. In her speech, Unkovic confirmed that everything she said in the House and every action she has done that legitimizes disinformation and peddlers of disinformation was sanctioned by party leader Winston Peters, who signed off on submissions she'd made to Parliament. Now, normally I'd put a joke in here, but clearly 6% of voters already did that. Saturday also saw South-styled Bishop Apostle Brian Tamaki, seen here admitting to News Hub that he did know his followers were planning to paint over rainbow crossings in advance and still suffered no consequences from it, complaining that he wasn't getting enough attention lately. So he held a Make New Zealand Great Again hikoi, a mishmash of ideas to show that apparently his hikoi was going to be bigger than hikoi mō te tiriti, his haka more powerful than the one recently seen in Parliament, that only the New Zealand flag should be flown in the country at an event where Trump flags were flown. The illegal activity blocked off State Highway 1 while his followers walked the motorway without the correct permits after misleading police and saying the event involved vehicles, not people on roads. The police have said that they plan to come down hard on Tamaki so the courts can absolve him of all guilt like they did this week around the case where he broke COVID lockdown rules to organise another protest. David Seymour, seen here attempting to perform a human wave like a human, is being given credit for helping ensure the success of Wellington CBD businesses, with his ability to draw in tens of thousands of people to an area all to tell him to shut up. The hikoi mō te tiriti on Tuesday saw some Wellington CBD businesses claim that the day was the busiest that they'd seen in 3 years, after the hikoi event itself finished. Wellington Regional Council reported that the event led to the largest ever numbers of public transport use the city had seen. So, of course, having high levels of public transport enabled foot traffic and not a car in sight means that everything that happened on Tuesday will somehow be blamed on Wellington City Council and bike lanes by the post. Gang patch bans came into effect this week, making public displays of some gang insignia illegal. The Attorney General did advise the government that this was inconsistent with the Bill of Rights, but they decided to go ahead with it anyway because allowing people to undertake criminal activity and not be identified is a good idea. As a quick guide, remember you can wear things like bulldog images in public as long as it's not gang specifically related, but you can't wear gang related content in public or your car or your home. But swastikas are fine. And if you're blocking off highways, intimidating people, targeting minority groups like the rainbow community, you can do so if you're wearing a gang patch that doesn't match the list the government has provided. But if your car has a patch on the dashboard parked overnight on the night this law comes into effect, the cop will swoop in at 3 minutes after midnight to ensure you don't hurt anyone. So it's a very clear and fair system. Richard Chambers has been named as the new police commissioner this week. Chambers rose to prominence as the police officer in charge of investigating groups looking into former National Party MP Todd Barclay when he made secret recordings of his staff to see if they were making fun of him, and the public noticed an apparent similarity between the two. Chambers has already signalled his aims of trying to build up public trust in the police force and is open to increased use of tactical police equipment and potentially more gun usage by police. Chambers had been working at international police organisation Interpol out of Europe before this position and is being touted by Police Minister Mark Mitchell as proof they can lure back police who have left the country recently if they offer them all the top job. The annual New Zealand Drug Use Survey was released this Thursday, which showed that the use of methamphetamine and cocaine had increased significantly in the past 12 months. The research paper describes the New Zealand drug market as saturated, but the government isn't concerned, saying at least gangs won't be wearing patches in public anymore because clearly we're tough on crime. Another survey released this week shows an extra 16,000 people have started smoking over the past 12 months, marking the first time that smoking numbers have increased in over a decade. Said Philip Morris spokesperson Casey Costello, "What a time to be a tobacco company, increased sales and tax breaks." Justice Minister Paul Goldsmith, showing how excited he is to write a propaganda piece for some of the richest people in New Zealand and call them biographies, this week announced two changes to name suppression laws around sexual offenders. The first would only allow name suppression of convicted offenders if victims agree to it. The second would automatically grant name suppression to victims of intimate recordings done without permission. These law changes have been welcomed by the victims of a prominent political figure who currently, at the time of recording, but maybe not the time of broadcast, has name suppression after being convicted earlier this year, saying, when it comes to sexual offending, well, they get to act in secret. Why should they get to keep that secrecy? At COP29 this week, rankings of countries were released on progress towards a more sustainable future, and New Zealand featured prominently for how quickly it had dropped 6 places in the rankings. While the country ranked highly for renewable energy due to our reliance on hydropower, policy changes instigated by the current government raised serious concerns about the ability to now reach 2050 climate change mitigation goals. Said Penny Simmons, Environment Minister, seen here telling you to lower your expectations to about here, it's nice that they think we're actually going to survive to 2050 to worry about it. On Thursday, the government received an open letter from 15 economists asking them to put a pause on current fiscal undertakings and rethink their plans because of the massive detrimental effects it's having on the New Zealand economy and society. Said Nicola Willis, seen here showing who the economists blame, "Look over there, it's, not a ferry, but it's some sort of distraction," before escaping on a scooter. It was reported on Thursday that one of the participants of the first new youth offender boot camps has been accused of reoffending just 5 weeks after re-entering the community. Green Party MP Ricardo Menendez-March, seen here hoping we all live long and prosper, said it was embarrassing the trial was failing so soon and showed the minister refused to acknowledge the evidence boot camps did not work. Said Children's Minister Karen Chow, seen here trying to see if she has pyrokinetic powers like Carrie, "We will know more about the circumstances after we apprehend the person, but we made him faster and stronger, so he's proving kind of elusive at the moment." Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters, seen here pointing to what he's told are chemtrails by his voter base, this week claimed in the House that the recent Heko Mō Te Tiriti was nothing but an astroturfing event by Te Pāti Māori for political gain, and nothing at all like recent politically motivated campaigns like getting rid of Three Waters or the groundswell protests. Peters, seen here walking amongst the illegal parliamentary occupation in 2022 to try and build political power from groups susceptible to disinformation being funded by shadowy organisations that they refuse to declare, is still looking for a dictionary to find out what astroturfing actually means, and is believed to be asking the Taxpayers Union and ACT for advice on the topic. And finally, Sovereign Citizen aligned Hamilton City Councillor Andrew Bidder, seen here asking Waikato Times senior reporter Mike Mather why he won't report on chemtrails, has told media he is considering a run for the Waipa District Council mayoralty to replace the current mayor that he used ableist slurs at and refused to apologise over after being censured. Bidder, who has links to the sovereign citizen group the Hamilton Residents and Ratepayers Association, an organisation run by a convicted serious fraud offender. Bidder claims he'll surround himself with like-minded people and offer a common sense approach to the role, like telling everyone about the imminent threat of 15-minute cities and towns that take 10 minutes to get around, and that all council staff are indoctrinated by Klaus Schwab to further WEF grand plans for global world government. All things he actually claimed are happening in conversations he's had with Liz Gunn. So, clearly common sense. And that is this week's news. I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you.